This conference will now be recorded.
Yes, sir. So, friends, today's session is the last session of Python automation. Today, we will try to understand. I mean, we have seen scenarios of how Python can be linked with Docker, right? So, similarly, today I want to explain those scenarios where we will see how Python scripts can be used for integrating with Jenkins, so that some of the activities that we generally do in Jenkins on a day-to-day basis can be done much more easily. Okay, that's the crux of what we are trying to do today. So first of all, let us take down the notes for the setup. I mean, if I want to take the help of Python and Jenkins for doing the automation, what are the steps? Please take down. The first thing is you install Jenkins. All of you know the process of installing Jenkins, so I'm not repeating that. You need to install Java, then you have to install Jenkins. So you follow the complete process of installing Jenkins. Okay, next, downgrade the version of Python. By default on your AWS instances, okay, by default on your AWS instances, Python will be running on Python 3 version. The Python programs that we have seen earlier, you know, the Docker Python and all those things, they were running on Python 3. There was no problem. But unfortunately, this Jenkins requires Python 2 to work. So you need to install Python 2. And these are the steps for doing it. Sudo apt get update so we want to install Python 2.7 and also one more package called as python-pip. These are the two packages that we require. So finished. This is the basic step that you need to follow. Install Jenkins, downgrade the version of Python from 3 point something to 2.7. Then you install a package called as Python pip. With the help of this pip, we will install a module called as Python-Jenkins. This is the basic requirement. Now, once this requirement is met, we can start executing the Python Jenkins related programs. Okay, so please see this. I have Jenkins. Currently, this is my Jenkins. I don't have any jobs or nothing because this is the Jenkins that I just installed before we started the classes. So imagine that I created a job. Just click on new item. Let me call this job as A1 job, some job. Okay, it's a freestyle project. You know the steps for creating job, right? I'm just creating one job over here. But what I want to show you is how will we create a Python program which will tell me information about all the jobs which are present in my Jenkins. Currently, you see there is only one job called A1. I want to find, even if multiple jobs are there, I want to find out the information about all those jobs. So what are the steps which are involved in order to work on it? I'll show you. Please look at my screen. Let us create the necessary program to handle that. So just watch. I will call my program as sample.py because it's a Python program. We are giving that extension. In the last sessions, when we were working on Python Docker automation, we were using a module called as subprocess, right? Now we will use another module which is called as Jenkins. Simply say import Jenkins. This is the process which is going to be used, which will pick up all those modules which are related to Jenkins. Okay, see, we don't need to worry about it. Once the module has been imported, you will see that there are lots of inbuilt methods which will help you to integrate with Jenkins and do a lot of activities. So please say this. Jenkins dot, in this Jenkins class, there is a method called as Jenkins, where you need to specify the location where Jenkins is running. In our case, Jenkins is running on the local host itself, right? On this machine, on the same AWS server. So I'm giving local host, and you give the username and the password of your Jenkins. When you install Jenkins, we set up the username and password, right? So this Jenkins object, I mean Jenkins class, has a method called Jenkins, which is used for connecting to the Jenkins server. All it requires is the IP address of the server, your username and password through which you want to connect. Once it is done, I will store that information in a variable called J, which means from now onwards, we know what is equal to. Whatever is on the right hand side of equal to will get stored in left hand side. So as I told you, this is the statement which is helping you to achieve a connection between the Python program and the Jenkins server. Because you are storing that in a variable called J, from now onwards in my program, whenever I use J, it will behave like that complete statement connection. Okay, so once that connection has been established, as I told you, I just want to see the list of jobs which are there. So there is a method called as get underscore jobs. This get underscore jobs is present in the Jenkins class that we are using. So I will just say print it. That's it. This J is the object which is talking about the connection between our Python program and the Jenkins server. Once that is created, through that object, we are able to access the different methods. One such method is get jobs, which is exclusively used for finding the list of all the jobs which are present in the Jenkins server. In our case, there is only one job, so it will show that information, but it will show the information about that job as a dictionary object. Okay, so with that, let me run the program. It's not a Python 3 program, it is a Python 2 program. So I'll simply say Python and give the name of the program. You see, it is showing you the URL, the AWS instance where the job is running, etc., etc. A lot of information about the job, and also the name of the job. Whatever information is there, it's showing that in the format of a dictionary object. Now, generally, we don't create Python programs for finding the number of jobs present in Jenkins. That is irrelevant. But why I'm showing this program is, first of all, you people need to understand how your Python program is getting connected to the Jenkins server. This statement is important. Once this connectivity is established, like get jobs, there are so many other methods which are available. Each method is designed to do a particular activity. You call the method and that activity is automatically performed. That is what we need to understand. Okay, please take down. Python program to connect to the Jenkins server. Python program to connect to the Jenkins server. Python program to connect to the Jenkins server and see the list of all the jobs. And see the list of all the jobs. Please copy the program.
Sir, what is the meaning of import?
What is the meaning of?
Import.
You did not attend
Import.
the previous Python sessions? Watch those previous videos. Import is basically used when you want to bring modules which are created by someone else into your current package structure so that you can start implementing all this. We talked about importing modules in the last, probably last Python session. Just go through that video, you will understand it. So friends, this is how you do it. Now I want to show you another scenario. I mean, most of the things are very simple because everything has been done with the help of packages and functions. Now the next one I want to do is I want to create a Jenkins job. So let me call this as create.py. As always, I will give the same thing, which is import. Only when this package is imported, you can start working on Jenkins import, and then you establish the connection. Jenkins dot sorry, j equals to Jenkins dot whatever we have given earlier. You specify the URL where Jenkins is running. If Jenkins is running on some other machine, you give the IP address of that machine and username of my Jenkins and password of my Jenkins. Once the connectivity is established, because I want to create a job, as I told you, there is a function called as create underscore job. That's it. Previously, get underscore jobs was giving me information about all the jobs. Now create underscore job, give some name for the job. I will call this as my job, some name you give. So a job called as my job will be created. Now here comes a very important point. Whenever you create a Jenkins job, what do? You give all those arguments, right? From where it should download from Git repository, what steps it have to do, post build actions, all those steps we defined, right? Now all those steps are actually provided to you by the development team in the format of an XML file. If they give you some XML file, you give the path of that XML file here. If they don't give you any XML file and you just want to create a blank job, simply say Jenkins dot empty underscore config underscore XML, finish. So here, if you give the path of an XML file, it will take the data present in the XML file and it will try to create a job with those configurations. Otherwise, it's just going to create a blank job. So you run the program. Python, what is the name of the program? Create.py. In just a matter of second, if you come to the Jenkins dashboard and refresh, you will see that a job called as my job got created. Through the Python program, we have created it. Okay, take it down. Create a Python program for creating Jenkins jobs. Python program for creating Jenkins jobs. Okay. So fine, friends, it's done. Okay. Now, once it is over, the next thing that I want to do is I want to execute a job. Imagine that there is a job which has been created in Jenkins and you want to run it. For example, I am creating a job called as development. And once the job is created, let's say this is the job where I just want to download some code and I want to build the code or something like that. Okay, I'm just creating a regular Jenkins job which you people are already familiar with. But what we are trying to understand today is through a Python program, I just want to trigger that job and ensure that it gets executed. See, only one step I am putting in the job, which is download from the remote Git repository. Currently, this job is not executed one time also, right? But I want to create a Python program which will automatically execute that Jenkins job. So all I have to do is, first of all, connect to that job. I mean, connect to that particular Jenkins server, and there is a method called as j.build_job. This build_job will run whichever job you want. Which job do we want to run now? I want to run a job called as development job. Finish. Okay, let's call this program not as create.py, but I'll call it as build.py. Just a meaningful name. Okay, so now you run the program, Python build.py. Finish. So if you refresh your Jenkins server, you will see that the development job is in the process of running. Automatically it got triggered. It's still in build queue, and it started execution, which means it's downloading the code. So through the Python program, you are running the job. Now you might think, what is the point when I can do it manually? Shortly we'll see that you can iterate and you can make it run for multiple scenarios, run multiple jobs. Okay, take down Python program for executing the Jenkins job. Finish. Now the next one was an interview question. Interview question in the sense, just watch. All of us know how multiple jobs can be linked with each other, right? Imagine I am creating one more job called as testing job, and what we want to do in the testing job is we want to download some other code, some other code. Anything is okay for me. So just imagine I want to download. Earlier we downloaded the Maven job, right? So maybe this time I will download this Ansible playbooks job. Anything is okay for me. Just as an example I'm taking. Okay, so it's a freestyle project. Once the freestyle project is created, we click on source code management, we click on Git, and you give that. Now, how do you do the linking? We are aware of it. You go back to the main job, which is the development job. You click on configure. In order to link one job with each other, I'll go into post build actions. We click on this option called as build other projects, and we give the name of the testing job. If you don't want to do that without manually linking it to the Python program itself, I want to run multiple jobs. In this example, only 2 jobs are there, but you could have 200 jobs or 300 jobs. So irrespective of how many jobs are there, I would like to run all those jobs one after other. That can also be done through a simple Python program, though we don't do the linking. So just watch. What I will do is, in Python sessions, we have talked about lists, arrays, and all those things. Remember? So I will now use a list type of element, which I'll call as, let's call this as jobs. Jobs equals to, in square brackets, I will give the name of the jobs that we want to execute. The first job name is development. The second job name is testing. Like this, multiple jobs are there. You are storing all those jobs information in a array. I will take a variable called I, initialize that with 0. Now we will say while I less than, how long should it run? Length of jobs, that is the array, right? It has some size. In our case, the size is 2. So until you reach the less than that particular number, just to make it understandable, okay, until you reach less than that number, what should I do? I want to execute a specific job. So I'll say j dot build job. And which job do you want to execute?
Jobs, actually. I less than length of jobs.
Yeah, sorry, I less than length of jobs. And now I'll just use a index number and I'll try to run it. I'll say you just execute jobs of I. Finish. So now what is going to happen? You created an array called as jobs, where 2 jobs information has been provided. Now you are saying while I less than length of jobs, okay, I value is 0, whereas the length of jobs is 2. 0 less than 2, condition is true. Because it is true, what are you saying? J dot build job. You want to build a job, which job? Jobs of I value is 0. Jobs of 0, which job is getting executed? Development job is executed. Then I will say I is equals to I plus 1, which means I was 0, now I becomes 1. Program checks whether 1 is less than 2. Again, condition is true. Because it's less than J dot build jobs, jobs of 1, testing is executed. Now I value becomes 2. 2 less than 2, condition is false. 2 is not less than 2. 2 is equal to 2. So it will come out of the loop. The result is whatever list of jobs you have given, all those jobs are getting executed sequentially. Okay, so let's run the program. Python, finish. So if you refresh your Jenkins dashboard, do you see the development job got executed for the second time, the testing job got executed for the first time. So n number of jobs you want to execute them, even though they are linked or not linked, in whichever order you want, you can do it. In the array, you just arrange them in that particular order and the jobs will get executed in that specific order. Okay, take down. Python program to execute. Python program to execute multiple Jenkins jobs. Finish. Now, one common question which is again asked in interviews is, how do you take a backup of the job? Backup of the jobs can be done in multiple ways. I'll show you one way, which is through Python program. Imagine there's a job which you already have and you just want a carbon copy of the same job. The development job, I want to copy with some other name or something like that. Okay, so I will just look at the screen, how we'll create the program. I don't require this arrays and all these things. We don't require loops. What are we trying to do? We just want to take a backup of the job. So I will simply say j dot, there is a method called as copy underscore job, and here you specify which job do you want to copy. I want to copy development job. Once it is copied, the new job should have the name as new development. Some name you give, source and destination. So what is happening is whatever configurations are present in the development job, all that will be copied as a new job with a name called as new development. Okay, so let's run the program.
This is cloning, right? You mean to say copy in the sense?
Yeah, absolutely. The carbon copy of the same job. It's a clone which is getting created. Same features will be present. When I run it, do you see development job and new development job? Of course, development job was executed, but new development job was never executed. But it will find, you will find the same configurations. If you open it, what activities we have done, the same activities are present here also. So you want to take a backup and all those things of the existing jobs. This is the way to do it. Okay, please take it down.
So,
Python program to take a backup of jobs. Yeah.
my question is like, in case if the Jenkins server have a lot of other jobs also with that. So if we want to take the backup of all the jobs
Okay, I'll
in
show
a
you.
one.
It's okay, I'll show you. If there are multiple jobs and you want to take a backup of all, generally we don't use the word all, but fine, I'll show that scenario also, Rajesh. Next example, I'll try to show you. There are two ways in which it can be done. One is, if all these job names are having some consistent pattern, you can simply create a loop and you can handle it. If these jobs are not having consistent pattern, they are having different naming conventions. In that scenario, individually all the job names I will first store in a list and then I'll try to do it. Both ways we can see, it's not at all difficult, but just wind up copying down this program, a Python program to take a backup of a job. Finish. So answering the question of how do you work on multiple jobs copying rather than simply copying one job, there are again different ways for handling this. What I will do is, the first thing, I will create multiple jobs, because currently we just have one or two jobs. I'll create multiple jobs so that I can demonstrate that all these jobs are getting copied. Just a second, what is happening? Fine. So please see this. First of all, I'll create multiple jobs. How do you create multiple jobs? I'll take a variable called I, initialize that with 0. Then I will say while I less than or equal to 10. Basically, I'm trying to create 10 jobs over here. How do you create a job? Already we have seen it. J dot create underscore job. This is the method which is going to create a job. I'll call my job as sample1, sample2, sample3, like that. So already in the last session also we discussed it, that sample value is coming from a variable called I. I is a numerical value. So numerical value format specifier is %d. In the earlier Docker sessions, we were using %s more because that was a string data. String data is represented using %s. Integer data is represented using %d. And immediately I have to specify this is coming from which variable. It's coming from a variable called as I. And after specifying this, because we are trying to create empty jobs, right? So the next parameter I am going to give is Jenkins dot empty underscore config underscore XML. So as all of you can understand, this job is going to create 10 jobs in my Jenkins dashboard. The names of the jobs will be sample1, sample2, sample3, like that. Multiple jobs are getting created. Okay, so let's run the program. Python, the name of the program, finish. It's created. So if you go back to the dashboard of Jenkins, you will see 10 jobs created on my Jenkins screen, all with the name sample1, whatever we expected, up to sample 10, right? Oh, sample 0 also got created. Super. Okay, fine. What is the reason why sample 0 got created? Because in the loop, I think I initialized I value with 0. If I initialized I value with 1, it would have started with 1, but fine, it's okay. So now after creating these jobs, I just want to take a backup of all these jobs. Okay, so what I will do is, the first part of the code I'll put in a comment. You know how comments are given in Python, right? If you want to give a comment, what do? You just give 3 double quotations, and where that comment is ending, there also you have to give. So whatever is in between that will be treated as a comment. Already jobs are created. I don't want to re-execute that code. Now what I want to show you is how do you take a backup of all these jobs. So I'll say while I less than or equal to 10, the same thing, but I want to take a backup, right? J dot, what is the method for taking a backup? The method for taking a backup is copy underscore job. Which job do you want to copy? I want to copy a job called sample %d. %d. Immediately outside you give this %d is coming from a variable called as I variable, right? Similarly, once it is taken backup, we know that that backup should have comma should come here. the backup should have some name, right? So I will call this as backup sample percentage D. This also comes from a variable called I. With every iteration, I equals to I plus 1. So please see, initially I value equals to 1. So it is taking sample percentage D. This D will be replaced with I value. What is I value? 1. Sample 1 job will be copied with a name called as backup sample percentage D. D value is replaced with I, which is 1. So sample 1 will be replaced, will be copied with a file called as backup sample 1. Then I value becomes 2. It increases, and for all these 10 jobs, a backup should be created. Python build.py. Finish. So once the program is executed successfully, just wait until you get the command prompt. Yes, it's done. Now, if you refresh your Jenkins, you will see that apart from your sample 1, sample 2, sample 3, it also created backup samples, which are nothing but carbon copies of the previous existing jobs. So any number of jobs you want to handle, simple Python program along with the inbuilt modules, we are able to handle it. Okay, take down.
Yeah, Sai, one question here.
Yeah.
Sai Tamannath. Sorry, actually,
Yeah.
I would like, because as a there will be the massive number of the Jenkins jobs will develop in our bigger environments, right? So so I don't know the job names. Then is there any supporting metadata from the Jenkins through which we
Yes.
can the job names and also create the backup with this kind of while loop?
Yes. We can. I'll show you where you can find all this information, Amarnath. Just another 2 minutes, I'll show you. There is a method called as get underscore job name, which will explicitly pick up only the job names. So you can create a Python program which will dynamically pick up all the job names, and correspondingly you can work on it. I'll show you just another 5 minutes. I'll show you where, in fact, where I got all this information, like create job, copy job. There's a beautiful documentation which is related to Python Jenkins, where they have given you each method, what is the purpose of the method. All I did was I read that document, what they are trying to say, and I'm demonstrating these programs over here. So I'll show you where you can get all that information. Just 2 minutes, just take down the notes.
Sure, Sai, thank you.
So take down Python program for creating multiple jobs. Python program for creating multiple jobs. And taking a backup of all those jobs. The first part of the code is simply creating multiple jobs. Okay, please take down. Already we discussed this. Any statement which starts with a hash would be treated as a comment. It never gets executed. Finish. So friends, one more program. How do you delete a job? When you want to delete a job, you just click on that arrow icon and you can click on build now, which is basically going to delete project, so that that particular Jenkins job is getting deleted. But when multiple jobs are there and you want to delete all of them, see, since I have taken a backup of all the sample 1, sample 2, I want to delete these original jobs, sample 0 to sample 10. It could be 10 jobs or 100 jobs. Now I can't click on each and every job and manually delete all of them. So I just want to trigger a simple Jenkins Python program which will handle my requirement. So just see how I'll write the code. First of all, we'll connect. What are we trying to do? We are trying to delete multiple jobs. It's getting slow. Fine. So to delete multiple jobs, I equals to 0. There is a method called as delete underscore job. So just use that and specify the name of the job that you want to delete. Finish. So sample 1, sample 2, I mean sample 0, starting from there, you will see that all the other jobs would automatically get deleted. So that's it. Starting from sample 1 to sample 2, not the backups, only the sample 1, sample 0 to sample 10 jobs will get deleted now. Python and give the name of the program. Finish. You will see, irrespective of whether there are 10 jobs or 1000 jobs, it will just delete all of them in just a matter of seconds. Can you see? All the sample related jobs are gone and only the backup jobs are available. So each method is doing a specific activity. We need to be good with basic Python so that you can put it in a loop or you can put an if condition. I don't want to delete sample 3, except sample 3, all other jobs should be deleted. So I'll put an if condition over there. Like that, if you're good with those things, it becomes really easy to handle. Okay, take down Python program to delete multiple jobs. Python program to delete multiple Jenkins jobs.
I have one question which is not related to this current topic what we're discussing.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, Sai, do you also teach like REST APIs? Like what the coding related to the REST APIs?
No, Amarnath. I just teach, currently I'm teaching only the DevOps related stuff, which is Docker, Ansible. I used to take Microsoft Azure also, but for some reason, because of you should say economic stuff, we were not really, it was not financially that much viable, so we had to stop it. But currently the courses that I can handle are AWS DevOps and Microsoft Azure. We are planning Azure, but not I don't know when the date would be.
Okay, if you have anyone like your friends know, like if anyone dealing with REST, yeah.
There is a person. I'll Amarnath, I'll actually ping him today. I'll just find out if he's willing to take any sessions. If so, I'll ping his phone number to you. You can talk to him.
Okay.
I'll update to you by Monday.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, Sai, one question. Let's say, if we have this jobs in the queue and for some reason, those are observed to be running for longer, and you find some flaw in those jobs and that are not supposed to be run ideally, and you want to forcibly cancel them, or
no, that's not supposed to be what?
Okay, that let's say if those are running for longer, it's taking so much time for the build process to get executed. You want to actually forcibly either pause or stop or mark them complete. I mean, if there's any method in that Jenkins, Yeah, to either forcibly stop, you mark it, you mark the jobs as complete or paused or succeeded, whatever.
No, I mean, it's not like that. We can actually abort the execution of any job. When the job is executing and you see that it's still running, I can just click on this icon and the stop execution, the execution of the job stops. Let's take the example of this. Probably these jobs will run very fast, but
Yeah, like
any
delete
job,
job, like
delete
delete
job
or
or
copy job that you have provided. Is there any other, method provided within the
pausing
input
a
of
job,
Jenkins?
right? Pausing a
Uh,
job.
yeah, that's a pause, or when it
Yes,
gets completed
yes.
successfully. Okay.
Yes, I'll show you. I'll show you. I mean, see, that's almost similar question a few minutes back. Amarnath asked, how do we know what methods are there and how do you actually work on this? This is very, very simple. All I have to do is you go into Google and there we will type Python Jenkins automation. Sorry. So Python Jenkins automation. This is the official documentation of this Python Jenkins related modules. Here they are telling you what are the different types of activities that we can actually do through our Python programs, integrating with Jenkins, create new jobs, copying jobs, deleting jobs, etc., etc. And what are the methods for doing it? I don't know. So what you do is just go to the bottom of this page and just click on next over here. This is what I have done. I mean, how did I get this information? This is what I see.
Okay.
These are the different methods which are available. If we can spend some time on this get job info, so I'll create a Jenkins object called J and I'll say J dot get job
Good
info.
job.
It'll give me
Yeah.
individual job info. Earlier job, if I want a job name, you can actually use that. So many methods are there, out of which the few methods that I have used are coming from this page only. So
Okay.
get queue info, this is what is going to tell you which jobs are waiting in the queue. You want to cancel the jobs which are present in a queue, J dot cancel queue, and you give the job name or the job ID, it's going to cancel it. I hope you're understanding.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
the
Yeah. I'm
version
able
of,
to.
yeah, get the version. What plugins are installed in my current Jenkins? I want to find out that information. I'll create a Jenkins object called J and I'll say J dot get plugins info. So that's it. We were just using these methods, and with the help of these methods only, we are able to do all the activities that we have seen till today. So that's it. It's as simple as that. Nothing difficult. So interview point of view, they are asking you what did you do through Python and all that. See, these some of the job methods. Copy job. There's one more method called as rename job. Probably instead of copying, it'll just replace the job name. Delete job, enable job. If the job is disabled and you want to run it, you're saying that a job is taking too much time, I just want to disable it, I'll use a method called as disable underscore job. So that's it. So the most beautiful thing is, as far as DevOps activities are concerned, whether you're talking about automating Docker or Jenkins, the only thing is you just need to have good understanding of how the if conditions are working, how the loops are working, how do you store data in an array, and how do you pick up the data. If this much is clear, the remaining things, inbuilt modules are there, inbuilt methods are there. The moment I'm saying import Jenkins, you are getting all those methods which are capable of working on Jenkins. What did we do today? Nothing, no rocket science, right? We're just creating a object of that Jenkins class. I called it as J, and with the help of that object, I was just using the already provided methods. Each method is designed to do a particular activity. You're calling that method and automatically that particular activity is happening. It's that simple. We just need to understand the basic concept of how objects are created. That's what we did. And you put it in loop or if condition, etc., etc. We will be able to do all those activities. Okay. So
Sai, here. Sai,
what I'll do is, yeah.
Venkat here. A quick question. When you're creating a job, you have mentioned like config XML files, right? Empty config XML and other files.
True.
Do we have anything for pipeline type of jobs and other jobs which are creating, like other than freestyle?
Venkatakrishna, we never said that the XML jobs are only for freestyle. In the XML job itself, it's very simple. When a job is created, what do? When you create a job, you have the option of either selecting freestyle or pipeline or multi-branch pipeline. You select the corresponding option and manually you do the activities, right? Similarly, in the XML file, as I told you, this Jenkins XML files, in the XML file itself, you will see that the first option will be, there will be an instruction which tells whether it should be a freestyle project or a pipeline project. If it's a pipeline project, what are the steps that should be performed? Each instruction would be present in that XML file. So the same XML files can be created for regular freestyle projects, or they can also be created for pipeline related jobs. Anything they can be used for. But a majority of the times, from a DevOps engineer's perspective, when they ask about what do, you just talk about multiple activities which are done. Let's say you create a particular set of Jenkins jobs for a sprint. There's a sprint called a sprint 001 or something like that. Based on the sprint 001, I have created 15 or 20 jobs. Once the sprint is over, I just want to take a backup of the jobs, or I want to delete all those jobs. So in those scenarios, we say that we integrate Python with Jenkins and we try to do those activities. So that's it from my side. Yeah, Venkatakrishna, tell me.
So the thing is, like, we have that XML files, right? So as you have shown the documentation for all the existing objects and methods.
Yeah.
Methods. So do we have any documentation XML files?
No, Venkatakrishna. The official documentation is not actually showing that, but I did download a few XML files from the Google and I tried it. It was working. So if you want, I'll actually search for that URL back and I'll ping that URL also to you so that you can take those XML files. It's not available in the official documentation, but third here and there on Google, I searched for those XML files and it was fine. It was working. Simple freestyle projects. For that, they have given some XML files. So if you want, I'll search for that again and I'll forward those links to you. But
thanks,
yes, not in the official documentation. But please always keep in mind, when we go for interviews, we should always talk in a sensible way, so that if you are saying that we are using Python Jenkins, clearly we should be able to tell only those scenarios where it shows that performance wise some benefit has happened. If you see that creating that XML file is more time consuming than creating a simple pipeline job or a freestyle job, the one immediate question they'll ask you is, then what is the point in wasting your time creating such lengthy XML files when I can simply create a pipeline job or a freestyle job in just 10 minutes? So when you talk about any kind of automation, you have to talk about only those use cases where you will see that your manual effort is taking more time, whereas your Python program is able to do that in less amount of time. Keep that in mind. Don't blindly say that everything we are automating. We should never say that. Partially, there are some activities which, when done manually, they can give optimum performance. There are certain activities where through a program you get better performance. So that kind of clarity we should have. Keep those kind of use cases, as we have seen today, taking backup of so many jobs, deleting so many different jobs. These scenarios are something that no one can question you. That's how they have to do it if they want to do it in a time effective fashion. But creation of jobs, it's a question that has to be, I have questions regarding that. So if you are crystal clear as to you can answer that, clearly you can say that we are able to create jobs very quickly and effectively through a Python program compared to doing it manually. Only when you have answer to that, we have to talk about this. Otherwise, don't talk about creating jobs. Always talk about managing existing jobs through Python scripts. Okay.
Got it, friends. Thank you.
Yeah. So friends, that's it from my side. So just go through the Python videos. I know that Python happened after huge breaks. So in case you found that it's difficult for you to catch up and all those things, maybe you can attend in the upcoming Python batches. Hopefully there'll be no break in the upcoming batches, but technically speaking, it's over. Srikanth, tell me.
Sir, auto scaling చెప్తాను డాకర్ లో
auto scaling
Python program.
ఏ auto scaling చెప్తానన్నాను నేను. I don't remember what I told.
That is scale up, scale down చేస్తాం కదా మామూలుగా డాకర్ స్వామ్. మామూలుగా
Docker
స్కేలింగ్
Swarm
అంటే
లో
మనం
we have
ఇస్తాం
a command
కౌంట్.
for doing that కదా శ్రీకాంత్. Okay.
దాన్ని మనం పైథాన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ద్వారా స్కేలింగ్ చేయొచ్చు. అదే ఆటో స్కేలింగ్ మామూలుగా ఇది జరగదు కదా. మనం ఏంటంటే
Auto
మనం
scale.
కౌంట్ ఇస్తాం, పెంచాలన్నా
నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు యాక్చువల్ గా క్వశ్చన్. స్కేలింగ్ ది డాకర్ స్వామ్ లో చూసాము. అవును.
అవును సార్, అది స్పెసిఫిక్ కౌంట్ మనం ఇస్తేనే పెరుగుతుంది తగ్గుతుంది కదా. ఇక ఒక
అవును.
మెమరీ ఎక్కువ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఆటో స్కేలింగ్ పెరగాలి తగ్గాలంటే ఇలా ప్రోగ్రామ్ అనేది చేయొచ్చు
Oh,
పైథాన్ ద్వారా.
fine. Okay, fine. I'll tell you. Fine. It's a good question. See, it's very simple. I mean, I can do it in n number of ways, but I'll probably show you one way of handling the requirement that he is asking. I understood the question. Docker Swarm or Kubernetes, both of them, they just talk about scaling. Scaling in the sense, depending on your business requirement, you can increase or you can decrease. But when to increase or decrease, that depends on your organization requirement. I can do it based on the processes which are currently running. I can just take up the information related to the processes which are running, and I can do it. Maybe I can take the output of the top command, or top command actually shows you information about the CPU usage and all that, right? So just a second. Okay, fine. So I'm just checking what are the different commands using which we can find out. Fine. This is showing me information about the memory. So I can take the IP addresses. I mean, I can take the number of requests which are coming, or I can take the memory. So if I want to pick up the memory, let's first analyze how you can pick up this part of the data, or depending on total. This is the total amount of memory. Let me make it much more easier. So when the used memory is going below a particular limit or something like that, I want to pick up the data. So just a second. First of all, analyze the output of the free command, free -m. When I do, okay, I'll show you free -m, and then we'll say I'm just checking where I can get the output, because this is the information that I want to capture. If I can capture this 529 field value, I'll put that in my if condition, and I'll try to manage it. So currently the total amount of memory that is present is 983. Out of that, the used memory is 529, and this is about the swap memory and the other things. So the total memory information we are able to see here, out of which I just want to pick up some of this information. So what are the different ways in which we were actually extracting the data earlier? Cut command was picking up the data in
I use
column.
arc, sir. Arc, AWK.
Awk command, do you know what are the fields we have to use? You're aware of that? Just a second. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe awk only we have to use for picking up this data.
Yeah, arc -f, the third field, $3.
Just a second. That's it, right? Let's see. Super. Super brilliant. So, using with the help of the cut command, it was becoming difficult because the delimiter is not specific. So we just took the awk command, and we are saying out of this information which is captured, I want to pick up the third field, and we got the third field. So now you are saying that you want to do auto scaling. You will put a condition where we will say that if the memory usage is crossing a particular limit, you scale it down or you scale it up or something like that. So let me just check if Docker is actually installed on this machine. Sorry, Docker hyphen version. Docker is installed. Fine. If Docker is installed, I need to install Docker Swarm also, right? So we will say advertise hyphen address, and we will just give the IP address of this particular machine. Okay, so just say this. First of all, this machine has to be initialized as a swarm manager or whatever, right? Brilliant. So if you give the command docker node ls, you will see that it's actually initializing the node. Brilliant. Now let us start a service. Some service we will start. Docker service create, and what name do you want to give for this service? I will say hyphen name, and you give the name as some name web server hyphen p for port mapping. I want to map some ports over here, and hyphen replicas. I'll make the replicas as 3, and this time I want to work on Nginx. So as all of you know, it's going to create 3 replicas of Nginx. What is the command for scaling up or down or whatever? I will actually now create a Python program for it. So it's done, right? So currently, if you give the command docker service ps, what is the name of our service? Web server. You will see that 3 instances. Of course, everything is running on the manager. Now let's create the Python program. VIM. I'll call this as auto scaling.py, and we know that the process we want to import is import subprocess. We have already seen this subprocess dot call. This is the method which is going to do the calling and everything. But before doing this, when do you want to increase the count or decrease the count? You have to have some kind of statistics. So the previous command that we have executed was picking up the used memory information, right? So you see, free command is giving you the memory information in megabytes. Out of that, we are printing the third column, which is giving you the used memory information. So what I want to say is, when the memory usage is more, I want to decrease the number of replicas. When the memory usage is less, I want to increase the number of replicas. So I'll just take some count. Okay, let's say when the memory usage is less than 200 MB, I want the replicas count to become 5. When the memory usage is greater than 600, I want the replicas count to become 2 or 3 or something like that. So we'll just put that in those conditions. I'll put in the script. So what we will do is, you just take this command. This command is displaying the output, right? So auto scaling dot py, it's becoming so slow. I think we got disconnected for a while, but the AWS instances are still disconnected. So fine, please see this. Once I identify the memory related information and all that, the command I'm going to give is take this data, okay, so this information I will store in a variable which I'll call as memory. Just for our understanding, let us print that memory and see what it actually shows. Later we will use this subprocess.call and do all those activities, but as of now we'll just print the usage of memory, and then based on the data we'll try to decide what can be done. So Python 3 autoscaling.py. Okay, fine, it's okay. So rather than doing this how we have done earlier, we'll try to store this complete information in a file first, and we'll read the data. All of you know how to store the data in a file, right? So see, instead of directly using a variable and trying to store here, I will redirect this complete information into a file greater than, I'll say file. So file 1 will be created where all this data will be stored. How do you read the data from file 1? We have a function called as file 1. Just create a variable called as f is equals to, you give the function called open. Which file we are trying to open? I am trying to open a file called as file 1. We have done all these methods, and I want to open this in read mode, and I will also say that I want to read, anyhow there is only one line of information, right? I will store it in this variable called f, and after storing it in this variable called f, I just want to print it on the screen. First of all, we'll just check whether the memory information is getting stored correctly or not. Autoscaling.py. What is happening now also? Oh, VIM, the free command and all these things, if you want to use in the Python program, we used the same thing, subprocess dot call shell is equals to true. Okay, finish. Brilliant. You can see that that number 598 got stored properly, but why this one extra space is coming? Maybe that is also coming up as a string or what? Let's open the file 1 and see what is the data stored over there. File 1 stores only 598. Good. So we can actually try with that only. So what we did was we just captured the memory information and we stored it in a variable called as f. Now once that information is captured, now I want to use simple if conditions in my program. So I will say if f value is, I think that has to be converted into a numerical value before we can do the comparisons and all that. So let me just convert into numerical value and see what it shows. Print integer of f, because generally the data which is stored in a file will be of the string format. So I'm just trying to convert into integer, and then we will see. Brilliant. Now the issue is resolved. So autoscaling.py, please see this. You're reading the data and storing the data in a variable called f. Unfortunately, that the data type of that f will be it will be string type. From string I want to convert into integer, so I'm using a function called int, and then I'm trying to print on the screen. Now rather than using so many different functions separately, I can just put it in one single statement over here. So directly directly I'll use the int function over here itself, which means the data which is present in the file from string, it is getting converted into integer, and then it is getting stored in this variable called f. So f is just having a numerical value. Now you put the condition. If f is less than or equal to, let's say if it's less than or equal to 200 megabytes, I want to increase the count. So the command will be subprocess dot subprocess dot call, and here you give the command docker service scale. Okay, which service we are trying to scale? Web server. I want to make it as 5, and then I will say shell is equals to true. Whenever it's becoming less than or equal to 200, we are just scaling the number of replicas. Okay, else if again some other condition, if f is less than or equal to 500 and f is greater than 200, if this is the condition, if the total memory usage is less than 500 and it's greater than 200, I'll say subprocess dot call. Because the memory usage has become more, I just want to decrease the count. Docker service scale web server equals to, make it as 2.
500 and if 200, A and B, that was AQ and B.
Okay,
500
fine, thanks. Okay, so
Call
when the memory usage is becoming more, you are just
కాల్ దగ్గర ఇంకొక ఎల్ పెట్టండి సాయి కింద సబ్ ప్రాసెస్ కింద లాస్ట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ లో సబ్ ప్రాసెస్
got it. And process spelling also is wrong. Subprocess dot call sub sub process. Okay, so if it is less than 200, you increase the count of the containers to 5. If the usage of memory is between 200 and 500, you give the the count as 2. Else, the final else condition, and take if the memory usage is greater than 500, then I will say subprocess dot call. I'll just have one replica, docker service scale web server equals to 1. Only one container I'll maintain. Shell is equals to 2. So that's it. I mean, this is my program, which depending on the memory, it will function and it will work. So in our case, what is the memory usage? I think it's
spelling wrong, sir. Scale spelling wrong. Else statement, last statement.
last లో
docker service scale. Okay, so this is about the condition. So what is our memory condition? In fact, and on my machine, the memory was currently showing as, I think it's 593. So currently my program is saying that if it's greater than 500, the count should become how much? 1. Currently, how many replicas are running? 3 replicas are running. So you run the program python 3 autoscaling.py. Do you see the scaling is automatically moving into 1? So now if you say docker service ps, what is the name of the service? Web server. You see it has gone to 1. So that's it. Depending on the memory usage, it increases or it can decrease. Now I am manually running this shell script. I don't want to run this manually. I want to run it automatically depending on the memory usage. You create a cron job in Linux for that. Cron job actually takes those 5 or 6 arguments, right? So you just give that cron tab hyphen e syntax. Cron job is for automatic execution, or you can create a Jenkins job which will do that activity. So you see, this is the cron command. Cron job -e is used for so I want to, what are the, how many arguments it is taking? I think it takes 5 or 6 arguments totally, right? What is
It's 5.
this? 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 arguments, and finally the last one is the command, right? Okay,
Yes.
when any of the first 5 fields are set to asterisk, it stands for all the values of the field. Brilliant. So this much is sufficient. See, this is what it's taking: minutes, hours, day of the month, month of the year, day of the week, and finally the command. So the cron tab -e we will open and we'll set it over there. So choose option number 1. Oh, select editor. I will take the VIM basic editor. So in this file, we just need to add the data. All you do is star for minutes, hours. Once all the stars are given, what is the last one? The name of the program that you want to execute. I think the name of the program was autoscaling.py or autoscaling.py. Just give that. Now, what will happen? Every 1 minute, 365 days, your cron job will be checking depending on the memory usage, because it's put in the cron tab. Every minute, every hour, every day, they have given some description, right? Depending on that, this job will run, and the scaling happens automatically up or down. In fact, in your AWS also, when you're using the word auto scaling, internally they have created scripts like this. But it's not just based on memory usage. It can be on any number of parameters. It could be CPU utilization. It can be memory utilization. So corresponding Linux command, it will trigger based on that output. They design the script like this. So it's not at all a big issue. Okay, so friends, that's it. If you want, you can copy down this program, or else just take a photocopy of this. We'll stop the session. Okay, so thanks a lot. Python sessions are over. Okay, I'll close the GoToMeeting. Yeah.
Hi, sir. Sir, I have some doubt in Docker file. Can I mail that one to you?
Yes, Prasanna, send it to me. You have my mail ID, right?
Yeah, sir.
Then
Okay, sir.
send
Thank you.
it. Yeah, fine.
Thank you.
Friends, I'm closing the meeting. In case you are still in the process of copying, just take a photo of it, photocopy, so that I can close the GoToMeeting. Okay, thank you.